Hello and welcome to yet another module on physical education. Today we will be talking about the next part of a very fantastic sport that we have discussed, that is the long jump. And we'll be discussing about the various fantastic athletes and the records that they have made and much more. The long jump has been the part of modern Olympic competition since the inception of the Games in 1896. In 1914, Dr. Harry Eaton Stewart recommended the running broad jump as a standardized track and field event for women. However, it was not until 1948 that women were allowed to compete in the event at the Olympic level. The long jump is also notable for two of the longest standing world records in any track and field event. In 1935, Jesse Owens set a long jump world record that was not broken until 1960 by Ralph Boston. Later, Bob Beamon jumped 8.90 meters, that is 29 feet 2.5 inches, at the 1968 Summer Olympics, a jump not exceeded until 1991. On August 30 of that year, Mike Powell of the US leaped 8.95 meters at the World Championships in Tokyo. Some jumps over 8.95 meters have been officially recorded, like 8.99 meters by Mike Powell himself, 8.96 meters by Ivan Pedroso, but were not validated since there was either no reliable wind speed measurement available or because wind speed exceeded 2 miles per second. The current world record for women is held by Galina Chestakova of the former Soviet Union, who leapt 7.52 meters in Leningrad in 1988. Now let's talk about the stars of the sport. DeBart Hubbard, the dedicated student athlete from the University of Michigan, became the first African American to win an individual gold medal at the Olympic Games when he won the 1924 long jump competition in Paris. His jump of 24 feet and 6 inches came 1 foot short of the world record at the time, but was still considered a great feat in Olympic and African American sports history. Bob Beamon. Bob Beamon made his mark in the long jump history when he broke the world record at the 1968 Olympic Games in Mexico City. The 22-year-old had trouble qualifying for the Games in the first place after faulting twice in the qualifying run, but once he made in the finals, he made the jump of his life. After taking 19 precise strides on the runway, Beamon hit the board, jumping an amazing 29 feet and 2.5 inches. Not only did Beamon become the first athlete to jump over 28 feet, but he broke the record by over 21 inches. His record jump would last for almost 23 years. Mike Powell. During the 1991 World Outdoor Championships, Mike Powell and Carl Lewis squared off in one of the most memorable long jump battles in the history of the event. After battling back and forth during the rounds, Powell used an aggressive jump off the board and landed deep into the pit to record a new world record of 29 feet and 4.5 inches. Carl Lewis. Lewis will go down as one of the best long jumpers and overall track athletes in the history of the sport. He didn't lose in the long jump for over a decade, winning 65 straight competitions, including 4 gold medals at the 1984 Olympic Games, and tying the record of his idol Jesse Owens. Lewis became the first long jumper to win back-to-back gold medals in the event when he won in both the 1984 and 1988 Olympics Games. After losing to Powell a year earlier, when Powell broke the world record and Lewis' win streak in the event. Lewis beat Powell in the 1992 Games in Barcelona. To impress track and field fans even more, Lewis, at the age of 35, qualified for the Games in 1996 at Atlanta. While some didn't expect much for the aging star, Lewis shocked all when he won the gold for the fourth straight time when he jumped 27 feet and 10.75 inches, his longest jump at sea level in 4 years. Jackie Joyner-Kersee. Jackie Joyner-Kersee is known as one of the best women's track and field stars in the history of sport. She won the 1988 long jump gold medal and is the current holder of the second best jump in the event's history with 7.49 meters. Galina Chestakova. The Russian long jumper is the current world record holder for the women's long jump at 7.52 meters, a jump she recorded while winning the bronze medal at the 1988 Olympic Games. She won the 1985 European Indoor Championships and a silver medal at the European Championships the year after. Chestakova received Slovak citizenship and represented the Slovakia. Now let's talk about the proper rules of the long jump according to International Amateur Athletic Federation. An athlete fails if A. He, while taking off, touches the ground beyond the takeoff line with any part of his body, whether running up, without jumping, or in the act of jumping. Or B. He takes off from outside either end of the board, whether beyond or before the extension of the takeoff line. Or C. He employs any form of somersaulting whilst running up or in the act of jumping. Or after taking off but before his first contact with the landing area, he touches the runway or the ground outside the runway or outside the landing area. Or in the course of landing, he touches the border of or the ground outside the landing area closer to the takeoff line than the nearest break made in the sand. Or F. He leaves the landing area in any manner other than described in Rule 185.2. When leaving the landing area, an athlete's first contact by a foot with its border or the ground outside shall be further from the takeoff line than the nearest break in the sand, which may be any mark made on overbalancing completely inside the landing area or when walking back closer to the takeoff line than the initial break on the landing. Note, this first contact is considered leaving. An athlete shall not be regarded to have failed if he runs outside the white lines marking the runway at any point, or except as described in Rule 185.1b, he takes off before reaching the board, or under Rule 185.1b, a part of his shoe or foot is touching the ground outside either end of the takeoff board before takeoff line. Or D. If in the course of landing he touches with any part of his body or anything attached to it at that moment, the border of or the ground outside the landing area, unless such contact contravenes Rule 185.1d or E. Or E. He walks back through the landing area after having left the landing area in the manner described in the Rule 185.2. Takeoff line. The distance between the takeoff line and the far end of the landing area should be at least 10 meters. The takeoff line shall be placed between 1 meter and 3 meters from the nearer end of the landing area. The following IAAF rules regulate the duty of officials doing duty at long jump. The panel of judges consists of one chief judge, judges, and a recorder. The chief judge shall coordinate the work of the judges as well as allocates duties if it is not done yet. A minimum of 5 judges are required to judge effectively. The function and position of each judge is: Judge 1, Chief. Now his job is call up, take off board, warning horn, time lapse, measure. Judge number 2 is recorder, and his responsibilities are take off board, checks, measure and exit from runway. The recorder records all decisions taken or instruction given by the chief judge. These notes must be accessible during and after the competition for reference. Judge 3, landing area judge, spike zero end of the tape. Now Judge 4 is responsible for landing area, and he is the landing area judge, spike and rake. Judge 5 is wind meter reader. Equipment for the chief judge: order of the draw list, program or the event list, entry ticket into the competition area, result cards, black ballpoint pen, clipboard, flag green and red, 20-meter measuring tape, skewer for tape, markers for athletes' run-up area, umbrella, two-way radio, table and chair, cones to indicate takeoff area, sand rake and fork, wind sock, distance board next to sand pit, performance board, record flags into 2, stopwatch plus batteries. Each competitor is allowed 3 trials, and the 3 to 8 best are allowed 3 more trials in the inverse order of the ranking of their performance. Deviation from the IAAF rule for school and talent identification meetings. In all inter-school meetings, primary to high school, up to national level, attempts are limited to 3 trials only. The best out of 3 trials will be used as the best result of each athlete. Note, this deviation will not affect the credibility of results. It will reduce the injury risk of the athlete who has to participate in several events during the competition. It will reduce the length of the competition and will increase spectator value. Time allowed for a trial is 1 minute. If 2 or 3 competitors continue, the time remains 1 minute. If only one competitor is left, the time should be increased to 2 minutes. For consecutive trials by the same athlete, the time is 2 minutes. The long jump shall consist of 1 long jump from the takeoff until landing in the sand pit. At the competition area and before the start of the event, each competitor may have practice trials in draw order and always under supervision of judges. A competitor may place 2 markers along the runway. Once the competition has begun, competitors are not permitted to use the runway or takeoff area for practice purpose. Measurement of each jump shall be made immediately after the jump from the nearest break in the landing area made by any part of the body or limb to the takeoff line or takeoff line extension. It should be taken perpendicular to the takeoff line or extension. The trial will only be legal if a wind meter reading is recorded as well. The chief judge shall vary the distance against the national or provincial or competition record and clearly indicate the distance as a new record on the results sheet before releasing it to the competition secretary. Now we are talking about the top 10 athletes in long jump. Of course, the first record is held by Mike Powell of USA, and he jumped 8.95 meters, that is 29 feet 4.5 inches, and the wind factor was 0.3 that day on 30th August 1991 in Tokyo. And the second position is held by Bob Beamon of USA, and he jumped 8.90 meter, that is 29 feet 1/4 inches, with just the barely legal limit of 2.0 on 18 October 1968 in Mexico City. Third is by 8.87 meters, that is 29 feet 1 inches, with a wind factor of minus 0.2 by Carl Lewis of USA on 30th August 1991 in Tokyo. And fourth one is 8.86 meter, that is 29 feet and 0.3/4 inches, with a wind factor of 1.9 by Robert Emayan of URS. The next one, the fifth position, is held by three athletes. 8.74 meters, that is 28 feet and 8 inches. First one with a wind factor of 1.4 is Larry Myricks of USA. And second one is 8.74 meter, that is again 28 feet and 8 inches by Eric Walder, also of USA. Now this was achieved on 2nd April 1994. 8.74 meter, again with a wind factor of minus 1.2, Dwight Phillips, again of USA, on 7 June 2009 in Eugene. And the next position is by Irving Saladino of Panama. He jumped 8.73 meters, that is 28 feet 7.5 inches, with a wind factor of 1.2 on 24th May 2008 in Hangzhou. Next is 8.71 meters, that is 28 feet 6 and 3/4 inches, with a wind factor of 1.9 by Ivan Pedroso of Cuba on 18th July 1995 at Salamanca. And one more person with the same record is Sebastian Bayer of Germany, and this was performed indoor on 8th March 2009 in Torino. So now we come to the women all-time top 10 women athletes in long jump. First one is held by Galina Chistakova of Russia. Then she moved over to Slovakia. She jumped 7.52 meter, that is 24 feet 8 inches, with a wind factor of 1.4 on 11 June 1998 at Leningrad. Second is by 7.49 meters, that is 24 feet 6 and 3/4 inches, with a wind factor of 1.3 by Jackie Joyner Kersey of USA on 22nd May 1994 in New York City. The next is 7.48 meter, that is 24 feet 6.1/4 inches, with a wind factor of 1.2 by Heike Dreschler of Germany on 9th July 1988 at New Brandenburg. In the fourth position is held by Annie Soara Kusmir of Romania, who jumped 7.43 meters, that is 24 feet 4.5 inches, with a wind factor of 1.4 on 4 June 1983 in Bucharest. And the fifth position is held by Tatiana Kotovo of Russia, and she jumped 7.42 meters, that is 24 feet 4 inches, on 23rd June 2002 with a wind factor of 2.0 in Annecy. Next is by Yelena Belovetskaya of Russia, and she jumped 7.39 meter, that is 24 feet 2 and 3.5 inches, with a wind factor of 0.5 on 18 July 1987 in Bryansk. Next is Inasa Kravets of Ukraine, who jumped 7.37 meter, that is 24 feet 2 inches, on 13 June 1992 in Kiev. And next one is 7.33 meters, that is 24 feet and 0.5 inches, with a wind factor of 0.4 by Tatiana Lebedeva of Russia on 31st July 2004 at Tula. The next record of 7.31 meter is held by three athletes: Olena Kolopotnova of Russia with a wind factor of 1.5, and 7.31 again 7.31 meter by Marion Jones of USA with a wind factor of minus 0.1, and Brittany Rees of USA. The long jump has been the part of modern Olympic competition since the inception of the Games in 1896. In 1914, Dr. Harry Eaton Stewart recommended the running broad jump as a standardized track and field event for women. However, it was not until 1948 that women were allowed to compete in the event at the Olympic level. The long jump is also notable for two of the longest standing world records in any track and field event. In 1935, Jesse Owens set a long jump world record that was not broken until 1960 by Ralph Boston. Later, Bob Beamon jumped 8.90 meters, that is 29 feet 2.5 inches, at the 1968 Summer Olympics, a jump not exceeded until 1991. On August 30 of that year, Mike Powell of the US leaped 8.95 meters at the World Championships in Tokyo. Some jumps over 8.95 meters have been officially recorded, like 8.99 meters by Mike Powell himself, 8.96 meters by Ivan Pedroso, but were not validated since there was either no reliable wind speed measurement available or because wind speed exceeded 2 miles per second. The current world record for women is held by Galina Chestakova of the former Soviet Union, who leapt 7.52 meters in Leningrad in 1988. So in this episode, we have discussed practically everything about this fantastic sport, that is the long jump. We have discussed about the various Olympic records, various world records, and the famous personalities associated with it. I hope that this information provided was of some use to all of you. Thank you so much for watching.